welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngani Titan. So we're here on Pearl River and I'm in the Cromwell B. We're top tier. But it's a map that I've always liked actually. There's a lot of opportunities on Pearl River, particularly if you're top tier. It can be a tough map to play if you're a glass cannon type tank or you are a slow tank, because sometimes it's very difficult to predict sometimes what your teammates are going to do. Now the thing about encounter mode, particularly at the moment, is that if you don't go towards the encounter, if you don't go to a position where you can intercept the cap, you go the long way around, for instance, you can... The chances of making it to a position where you can interrupt the cap if the enemy go and force the cap circle is very slim, really. You need to be up here, and if you're in a fast tank like mine, you can always relocate out of here if things have moved a different direction. The problem with being up here is that you're very vulnerable. If the enemy spot you, sometimes if you can spot them, the enemy can spot you. And I don't have a well-trained crew in this tank. As you can see, my view range drops considerably short of my detection range. So I'm kind of dependent on other people to spot for me. And it's always important that if some of the tougher tanks get into the village, because by getting into the village, there are locations there in the houses, right just between the cap circle and the hills, where the enemy tanks, where tanks can get into, and they're pretty much immune to anybody that can get into a position to shoot them. This Panzer IV is heading for that direction, as is the Sherman. And once they're into the houses, you can't shoot at them from here. And I'm being spotted by the T-34 because you basically have to get up to that location again along the river without being detected on your approach, unless somebody goes down into the low ground. But the trouble with going down here is that you're very, very vulnerable again, because there's no cover in that open field unless you stay back and you have distances. Basically, your stealth. You have to put as much distance between you and the enemy as possible. And I'm basically hoping that the T-34 doesn't show up, that he's afraid of the tanks behind me. Now that was a nice hit on the Panzer. I don't know why he was out, why he was pulling out. Like, I mean, if he stayed where he was and just waited for people to come on to him and relied on his allies behind him, like the Panzer III-4 up here, he'd be better off in terms of, forcing us to take the risks rather than him taking the risks inside the cap circle. Things are not looking good at the moment. We're a bit short on this side, and we've lost the southern side of the village, so there's going to be tanks infiltrating up through there that are going to cause us problems. And the T-34 of course has popped up to see is there anybody in the field, and I've been spotted, so that's why I'm relocating over to this side. This will give me protection from the T-34 and some of the tanks at the back, and will probably allow me to hopefully shoot at that Sherman, who is not actually paying any attention to me, so we get rid of him, and that removes the immediate threat in the cap circle. And I don't think there's anybody up behind at the moment, so I'm going to go in on the T-34 because he's not pointing his gun at me, and he quite nicely then pulls back in front of me to give me some frontal cover against the tanks behind him. The tank across from me possibly might be able to get some shots at the tail end of my tank, the back of the engine deck. The enemy T-34, although the T-34 doesn't have a very accurate gun, so I'm probably not showing a lot. So I'm going to back up, use my speed and the fact that he doesn't have a very accurate gun, and I'm just going to close the distance, because I don't have I have a very accurate gun, but I have a really long aim time. And in a long range shooting match, it's kind of 50-50, whereas if I can get close, well, he's a one-shot kill, and I can probably take a hit from the T-34. However, when I get here, the T-34 is not anywhere to be seen. And I also, just as well, because I couldn't drive there, and I would have made myself very vulnerable to him. Now it's a question of choices, who do I go after? And there's a ally down here, so this is why I went this way. But since the ally is dead, it's a far more problematic thing. We snap a shot at the T-34, we miss, which is why the snapshotting thing, but the T-28, who is probably got a gun no better than mine, although it hits fairly hard, snaps the shot off and wins, and I'm going after the light tank because we have a 2 against 1 situation, and the artillery is much more easy to deal with. The last serious remaining threat on the enemy team, well, is the tank destroyer, but I've no idea where he is the light tank. So I'm coming after the light tank. I didn't want him to take out or to circle to death my tank destroyer. I have no idea what the tank destroyer was, but I reckon that the Cromwell and a tier 6 light tank is kind of, you know, I'm pretty much as good as he is, because Cromwell is, performance wise, it's almost as good as a light tank, and it's probably that little bit better armoured. So where is he? There's no sign of him here. Oh, there he is, and we put a round into him, so that cuts him down a bit. We get another shot into him as we're passing, and he misses, and now we just need the last shot. And that's it, game over. So he is now out of action, and there's 2 tanks, or two artillery still alive, amazingly enough. It was pretty good going. However, one of them is now gone, and the remaining enemy artillery, no idea where he is. He just popped up momentarily and he's gone as well. And it's just a tank destroyer. Now I don't know where the tank destroyer is, but if the heavy tank's looking for help, it's possible that the tank destroyer is somewhere nearby, and there he is. He turns up as an 88. So I don't want to be shooting across the field facing an 88. I'd have trouble penetrating the frontal armour of an 88, and he would his rate of fire would be as fast as mine. He's going to be harder hitting, so I wouldn't survive that kind of fight. So I'm hoping that my tank destroyer will keep the 88 occupied, and I can come around from the back. And there he is. He doesn't have he's a one-shot kill if I can get a shot into him, and we come around to the side, put the round in, and that's him finished, and that is a Top Gun. Game over, victory, all enemy vehicles destroyed, and we did, what, nearly 16,669, or 1,669. High caliber, and Top Gun, yes, 2nd class mastery. Wouldn't take much notice of the official hit points and stuff like that. There's the doubles and stuff like that are going on at the moment. So we came number 1 by experience. The Capture KV2 came number 2, and the Hummel and the Jackson are following along. I would take no notice of the poor unfortunate SU-8. This is a terrible map for Russian artillery, because of just the wild inaccuracy of Russian artillery, and your chances, you're basically snapshotting with artillery on this map. The lines of sight are all over the place. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment. If you have not already done so, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. Thank you for once again. Bye for now. I'll catch you all again soon.